this talk is going to bring you back on track. We have Stefan Schiffer and Alexander Gerhard here with us today, and they are going to talk about how to bring AI on the asphalt. Stefan is Business Development Director at Fujitsu, and Alexander is Head of Communications at Nürburgring. It's a pleasure to have you. Here, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So, hello everybody. Thanks for joining us, also directly after the lunch break. Yeah, we were very happy to be here and to give you an overview of what Nürburgring and we as Fujitsu did at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. This is enhancing and improving track safety with the help of AI. And I'm very happy to have Alexander with me from the Nürburgring so that we get also some special direct flavor from the track. Happy to have you here, Alexander.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. So let's start. My role is to explain to you a little bit what the Nürburgring is and what is our task and what is our collaboration with Fujitsu. So the Nürburgring, we see this wonderful aerial shot here, is the most known racetrack in the world, and it's called the Green Hell for a reason. But to give you an insight of the Nürburgring and to give you a wake-up call after lunch, I brought a clip to you. So let's see this clip together, and after this, I will step in the facts.
Wagen hetzen in die Südkehle. Gonzales führt, dann Fanjo, Moss, Lang und Hermann.
who doesn't like the ring lies, or he has never been there. That is what connects us to each other. It's the fascination of the Nürburgring and also the fascination of finding a solution for tasks the longest permanent racetrack in the world delivers to us. So what is the Nürburgring? To explain to you what is the task, what is the racetrack. So the Nürburgring is the longest permanent racetrack in the world. The Nordschleife is opened in 1927, so it's nearly 100 years old, and it has a grown infrastructure over the decades. So it has 73 bends, curves, and it has 300 meters in difference on one lap. So as you can imagine, safety is for us a main issue on this track, because cars are driving very, very fast, and we don't have only races, but we have more use cases. For example, like tourist drives, like track days. And our problem is we don't have so much safety personnel around the track like during the races. For example, under the week. It's a problem to find many people that solve this problem, that we have a lot of track marshals all around the track. And therefore, we need an infrastructure, we need cameras all around the track, because up to today, we have the damages of a car or we have accidents, they are given to the race control via radio control or via a phone call. And as you can imagine, we lose time to rescue persons, and the problem is the following cars are also at risk to have an accident. And when you have more than 100 cameras, you can imagine that no one can have an overview of these cameras and to check where is an accident and what has to be done. And this is the point where Fujitsu stepped in and where we generated together a first test section on our racetrack, and where we made together our case. Stefan.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alexander. So that's the case where we said, okay, that's something nobody has done before in such a scale at a track. So what we did is, as you said, beginning in a short section, think big, start small, 2.8 kilometer long test section where we tried out the physical limits. Okay, where can AI, how far distance can be done in different weather conditions, and to learn from that, and then scale around the track. So that way we can share at the moment. The western part of the Nordschleife is already equipped with the cameras, and in the next winter there will be also the cameras on the eastern part. And in parallel we scale up the system, improve the software, and harden the algorithms. So just to give you an idea, okay, what is this solution about in a nutshell? We begin for sure with cameras, take live pictures. These cameras are connected with fiber optics to the AI and to the machines and to the computers we are working on. The results from the system then go into a software, into a GUI, where the people from the race control can see, is there an issue? Are there things to do? And we see on the right-hand side, can we trigger, for example, the LED panels, as Alexander said, to ensure that upcoming traffic is not crashing into maybe an already happened accident. So that's the overview of the so that you get an idea of the solution. So how does it work technically? At the beginning, there's as I said, the cameras with the live pictures. These pictures are then interpreted. So we do two things. The first thing is to detect objects. So we have to see what kind of objects are on the track. That can be cars, that can be people, that can be motorcycles. Also interesting is to see, okay, is this person on the track on a motorcycle? Then everything is fine. But when a person is beside a motorcycle, for sure not. So that are different cases we have to take into account. And we brought some video footage with us so that you get an idea, okay, what are the basic steps. So here we can see the object detection from cars, from motorcycles, and so on. We also saw, okay, how much range is AI capable in different weather conditions. Another thing is the rain, because in rain, the lights of cars are some kind of mirrored in the streets. So who knows the Eiffel knows there's a lot of different and demanding weather conditions there. So that's really a challenge to harden the neural networks as good as possible. And after we detect the objects, then we come to the interpretation. So because when you know, okay, they are objects, you know they are objects, but what to do now? So one thing is to see where are objects, for example, in dangerous areas. What's important to know, you have for sure the track, you have green, you have guardrails, so it's important to know where are these objects, where are objects allowed, and where not. And how we did this is to do a track segmentation to differentiate between the track itself, green, the crash barriers, and set in the software some rule set behind to see where can we alarm if something happens. Then the next step is to say, okay, are there, the one thing is the objects we really can detect and classify, and the other thing is anomalies. And we had a lot of discussions, okay, what kind of different objects are important to see. So it's important to know there's a car, but it's when there's, for example, at least there are no pumas in the Eifel, but there are other animals like what's the English word for that?
A fox, for example.
Fox, for example, from the foxhole. So that are things, we have to take into account and say, okay, is there an anomaly on the track we have to trigger? And for sure, one issue is really the slow cars. So even if the car is on the track, but going very slow, that can be a danger because of approaching traffic, which is very, very fast. So that's what we see here. On the right-hand side, the car is for sure in the green, so triggering an alert. You see that at the red box. And when we see the repetition, another car is approaching, and when it gets very slow, it's going to be also red and trigger warning, and this is done without GPS. And yes, and afterwards, after that, what we do with the results? So we do a classification of the different incidents. So one thing to do a visualization on a virtual map so that you can see where actually is an accident, where's a slow car, where there may be things on the track. That's very important to know. And in parallel, we have a software behind it where all the things you have to do in the race control can be done. That's, for example, can be triggering LED panels or giving some incidents maybe to rescue teams. So it's all about cooperation and very, very fast reaction. And that's, I think, Alexander, in a nutshell, the benefit of such a software combined with AI, that we win time. Because normally when something happens, it has to be detected very fast, and that's what we can do with our solution then. Okay, and the other part, the other thing is what can we do with the gathered data? So when you have, let's say, a complete day, you can see, okay, how many cars are leaving the track in a specific section. That's interesting to know, because normally you don't know about that because things are happening. Maybe somebody sees it, but nobody is writing reportings or some kinds of things. And the other thing is that we can also store video footage, for example, from incidents, so that we see there's an incident, we save a snippet of the video, so that we can have, let's say, some evidence also after incidents. That's also a big topic, I think, at the Nürburgring. Perfect, and that's all about the technique. How can we do that from a technical perspective? But I think, Alexander, what we learned together is that it's not only about solving a technical problem, but also bringing the people who really use this software afterwards to the table. That has two reasons. On the one hand, we are not experts in race control and no track marshals, so it's for us very important to learn from your team what is important for them, what has to be set in which way in the software. So what we did to ensure this is to come together and say, okay, we do lots of workshops where we really start at the beginning saying, okay, what's your goal? What do you want to achieve? we had workshops to see how should the GUI look like. That's also very important because people are using such kind of software the whole day. So beginning at tourist drives, maybe at 8 o'clock in the morning until sometimes 19, 20 in the evening. So that's very important that everybody is involved, what we're doing there. And I think, Alexander, that's something we can underline, which is very, very high value, because the technical problem itself is the one thing, but the other thing is to work together and make the product, what we have at the end of the day, as good as possible together with the people. And I think that was also a very, very good connection between our teams. So it feels like a common team we have where we do the software.
I think to describe this perfectly is there are coming different fascinations from different direction to one project. So we have the technical solutions, we have the software solutions, we have the artificial intelligence, and we have those guys. They are professionals in running a racetrack, in organizing different use cases, and they are all coming together. They stick their heads together, and then they combine it to a perfect solution. So, and this is for every department of our company. It's enormous because we have a product, the racetrack, which we can do much more safer. So this is an enormous step because the guys in the race control never had a direct view on this, what happens on the racetrack. And this is a big difference now because they see what happens, they can act, and they are supported by this great system. On the other hand, we have a storytelling about them. We can tell our stakeholders what makes the track safer and why is motorsport and why is fast driving on the most demanding racetrack in the world a safe thing. And what happens when an accident appears. So we have those guys who are starting to rescue the driver or whoever. And this is something which is very, very important for a company like the Nürburgring, also in times where driving a car isn't so up to date anymore. So we need this story and we need to make things safer to not produce more questions than we need. And there, Fujitsu is the perfect partner, and I think we found a perfect solution for our problem.
Yeah, and I think that some kind of also matches to the philosophy saying technique should always support people. That's very important also for us as a company, and that's also the same case we do, let's say, in other industry verticals when we design solutions in manufacturing and everything. So that's what we always see, that's really, beside the technology, the key factor to get the people, because even though AI is quite familiar, thanks to ChatGPT, many people got to know AI and got connection points, but still there are some barriers from people which has to be tiered down. So that's, I think, a perfect vehicle to do that in a common team and, yeah, to involve everybody and explain things. Okay. So that's a very interesting and very good process we are in at the moment. So we are very happy to continue our common journey with you, Alexander, and your team. And yeah, we keep you updated about the next steps. And thanks a lot for having us here. And if you have any questions, please don't be shy. You can contact us. We're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.